Hey there guys, in this video we're going to be going to the newest Purgatory trial, the Grace of Lightning. This is next in the Elemental series. We've done Dark, we've done Fire, now we're going to Thunder. The missions are 20 turns or less across all battles. It's 3 waves like the other Purgatory trials. They're all machines this time. That's the final boss. We're going to be doing it with Squall. Now, this trial is kind of designed to be done by Zack and Cloud. They're very good at it. I did off-banner Zack, and I could run the Zack-Cloud combo at this point, but we're going to use Squall because Squall is a non-elemental leader, and, well, he's a leader for light element, but he's a non-elemental unit, meaning he can do thunder damage. So we're going to be imbuing him with Sakura. He's actually got Thunder Imbue of his own, but Sakura is going to be for the heavy Thunder support. Ilmateal is for 250 Machine Killer. Hawkeye is just my best breaker on JP. I can't seem to pull a better one. Cecil, you know, best tank ever. And then double Squall will be our damage dealers. I'll put a turn chart in the comments for those that want to follow along the turns exactly. But this is my planned clear. It hasn't worked yet. I've been tweaking it. The latest change I've made, I think, is going to push us over the edge. I'm pretty confident at this point. Okay, so this first guy is pretty easy. He's a, well, they're all machines, but he's very squishy. He's going to die on turn 2. So we're going to use Hawkeye to do his 88 breaks. We're going to use Sakura to do Thunder Imbue, big rolling amplify on my Squall, and Imperil with Burst. We're going to start Cecil in the base form, go to the shift form, and we're just going to Omnicover on turn 1. We can do things like, you know, Omnicover plus Break plus Shell. You don't need to do all that. This boss is easy. The first one's very easy. We're going to use the LB of Ilmateal for LB damage, stat buff, machine killer, etc. And we're going to get the Squalls ready. We're going to use their LB buff. We're going to do their LB mod buff. And then they're going to do their Thunder Imbue and all that. You know, Squall does have imbues for multiple elements, which is kind of nice. 5 different elements, but he's only got really big support for light element. The Thunder stuff, he kind of needs external help, like Sakura. But he does still have the imbues and all, which is kind of nice. Anyway, this boss, we're Omni-covering turn 1. He does like physical damage, magic damage, etc. Cecil's going to take like no damage. He's evading all the physical. Super easy. Okay, let's go to the base form with Cecil. Now, we're not doing Squall's full setup, so we're going to go ahead and use the base form of Cecil to LB for the Greatsword Imperil. Also, this is going to put Cecil in the base form so that when we go to the next fight, he recast his field effect. Sakura will do the Ramu field. Now we're going to do 250 Machine Killer on both of our Squalls. And then we're going to just LB, the shifted LB of all 3 of these guys. Hawkeye is not geared for damage. He's just going to, his LB though does match Squall's, so he's jumping in to just build the chain quicker. And there's the first boss. First boss, super easy. 2 out of our 20 turns have been completed. This boss is a lot trickier. He is very bulky, and he does a ton of damage. He also spams the hell out of the Dispel ability. He dispels you so often, and you cannot stop his Dispel. But you can negate the Dispel. Okay, you'll see. We're going to make him skip the Dispels by threshold locking him. But turn 1, he's going to Dispel us. Not much we can do about it. We're going to deal with it. Okay, so because he's dispelling us, we're not going to do any big buffs. We're going to do the rolling amplify on my Squall, because that'll just recast next turn after the dispel. Let's go ahead and imperil the boss and do a protect guy, because he's going to attack us before the dispel happens. So we do need mitigations and all, you know, because the dispel happens at the end of the turn. Cecil is going to go to the shift form. We're going to use Shelga for 50% mitigation, general mit, cover, and we're going to do his bigger attack and magic break. We're going to use Hawkeye to Mirage to make one of these attacks deal less damage. Ilmateal is going, oh, I did this wrong. Whoops. I was supposed to shift Squall and do his LB first. That way he gets all the crystal drops. He is using 1000% fill rate, so any crystal he gets is multiplied by 10. That was a mistake not doing him first. Hopefully he still gets enough crystals. Now we are going to use Ilmatil to triple cast LB fill. This is going to give him 21 guaranteed. So he only needs 4 drops. And then the Squall friend is going to lightning and hit the boss a few times. And hopefully some crystals will go to Squall. I can't believe I messed that up. Oh, he got 1. Oh, that was... Anyway, there's the counterattack. It really hurts. It's fixed attacks, so it bypasses cover and all that. Super irritating. And then a weak attack. Alright, let's go ahead and... Squall is wearing the paintbrush. He's still not quite there. Let's have Hawkeye break. Whoops. Hawkeye is going to break and then double Absolute Mirror of Equity. Hopefully we need 1 more crystal on Squall. And come on, Squall, you can do it. What a jerk face, avoiding everything. All right, let's go ahead and shift the LB secure. We're going to probably get a crystal on him at some point. Let's go ahead and do a fill rate buff and a double heal on Ilmatil and hope that my Squall mistake doesn't cost us this fight. We're going to use the shifted LB of Cecil to put up mitigations and all. The boss is not going to dispel us this turn. Finally, a crystal went to Squall. His LB is good at this point, but we're not doing it yet. Turn 2, he does not dispel us. He did dispel us last turn, by the way. So all those buffs we put up earlier were gone, but we're rebuffing slowly. So Squall is now going to LB modifier buff, lightning, and then chain. Other Squall, same thing. LB modifier buff, lightning, and then chain. And we're going to chain a little bit. Not a ton of damage, but some damage. Okay, no dispel on turn 2, so that's fine. There's the counter, but we now have Cecil's LB mitigation because he's not dispelling this turn. There's the physical attack. It does hurt, but we're fine. Okay, turn 3, he's going to dispel again. But we're going to threshold him, so he's not going to dispel. But he is going to cast Stop. So let's go ahead and use Stop immunity from an Esper with Hawkeye. Let's use the 250 killer from Ilmatil on both of the Squalls. Okay, now we're going to use their LB. We need to push the boss below 70%. That'll trigger the threshold, and that'll override the dispel for the turn. He will not dispel us if we push below 70%. So let's go ahead and do the burst. We're definitely going to, by the way. It's just, you need to go below 50. I'm sorry, below 70. 50 is the second threshold. We push that as well. That's okay. This boss will queue up his thresholds. He won't leap them. So he's going to do his 70% threshold this turn. He's going to wait on his 50 threshold. So that's totally fine that we overpushed. No problem. Okay. Cecil, now this turn, is going to Shelga, heal the party, and cover. We've still got his mitigation, and we're not getting dispelled. Now we're going to use Sakura to do her cooldown to fill the LB gauge, and then double Graviton Cannon to hopefully get some crystal drops for the Squall. Okay, here's the threshold. Counterattack first, then the threshold. It's relatively painful, but some of it bypasses cover. Physical damage, it does kind of hurt. We've got Cecil's mitigation at this point, so it's not super duper bad. So it's fine. Okay, turn 4. Now, we're going to burst again. Now, here's the tricky thing. We don't want to actually kill the boss this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Sakura to use her shifted LB on this turn. That's just refreshing it, so it's still there later. Let's use Ilmatil to triple cast LB fill. We want to fill our Squalls again. Not quite, but that's okay. We can use Hawkeye to. Let's go ahead and have. All right, let's go to the mine's fill. Let's go to the base form with the friend who's wearing LB fill rate in the base form. Let's have Cecil do a heal for the party. Let's do his cooldown break and his regular break to get some crystals. And hopefully one of them goes to the friend. That was bad. That's okay. Let's use Mirage on Hawkeye. Again, maybe a crystal goes to the friend. It didn't. Okay, so the friend didn't get his LB, which is actually kind of okay because we didn't want to kill him this turn anyway. So we're just going to use one LB and a triple absolute mirror of equity. You know, whatever. And then this is definitely not going to kill the boss. So we're already below, below 50%. So here's the 50% threshold. The boss doesn't actually do anything on that threshold. It's a total free turn. All he does is the counterattack and imperil. All right. It's a little unfortunate, honestly, that... Oh, my God. All right, let's go ahead and burst kind of again with mine in the base form. Let's do it this way. I was supposed to have LB'd both the squalls. It's unusual that they didn't fill in time. Let's go ahead and do both the killers. We're kind of adapt at the moment. And let's, like, you know, just on the off chance we somehow push the threshold, let's get ready to, in case we kill the... If we kill the boss, it's fine. But if we kill the boss, we got to have Cecil in the base form, and we got to refresh that Esper field. So let's burst, and just in case the boss dies, he did, we'll summon the Esper field again. That's fine. Well, we're kind of off track. We killed the boss 2 turns early. Variances for the win? Sure. Okay. Normally, okay, the turn chart will demonstrate going all the way to turn 6 on that boss, because that's how it normally goes. We had amazing variance that run. But the turn chart, it's totally fine. Just follow the turn chart if you don't have the variance. Anyway, let's focus on the final boss, which is the actual hardest one. Okay, so this boss is an enormous headache, because on his turn 1, he's going to put up Mighty Guard. That is going to make him basically immune to damage for multiple turns, and you cannot remove it. So we're going to end this boss also. You got to kind of kill him in a single burst phase. Otherwise, he gets permanent Mighty Guard effectively. I'll explain more about that in a moment. But for now, it's turn 1. We're going to just burst on turn 1. Now, I am going to go slightly high risk here. Because I want to get as much damage as possible on turn 1 before that Mighty Guard goes up, we're going to skip our full tanking setup. So, the boss has a bunch of RNG attacks he does on turn 1. He does 2 out of 5 attacks. He's going to do either a Earth attack, a Dark attack, a Thunder attack, or another Dark attack. We're going to be immune to all of those because of Sakura. So she's going to give us, this trial is obviously made with her in mind, she's going to be giving us 100 to, conveniently, the exact 3 elements we need. 100 immunity to Thunder, Earth, and Dark. That is the 3 elements this guy does. You know, it's so blatant the way they tailor these trials to exact units. But whatever. So now we're immune to 4 out of 5 potential attacks he does. He also does status effects, so we're going to do status immunity. And we're going to imperil the boss. That was not imperil. So we're going to Thunder Imbue plus immunity, status immunity, and imperil the boss. Okay, so we could use Mirage. And if we did use Mirage, we'd be guaranteed to be safe this turn. We're going to just Guts it. So everyone on the party is either going to Guts or re-raise this attack. Now, the Squalls cannot re-raise. If they do re-raise, they'll lose their LB modifier buff, like the Titus STMR built in. So they're wearing Guts. We're going to use the shifted LB on both the Squalls. Now, this is only an RNG chance that the boss even uses the physical attack. He might not even use it. Ilmatil is going to SLB this turn. That's going to put up re-raise on the party for everyone else that is not using Guts. It also does LB buff, stat buff, machine killer, etc. Hawkeye is going to break the boss. Now, if you don't want to risk it on turn 1, you can use him to Mirage instead, because we do have 80% break, but I want that 88 break. So we're going to 88 break this boss. And Cecil, instead of covering, he's going to use his base form LB for Greatsword in Peril, because we're going directly to the bursting LB of Squall's shifted form, whereas his Greatsword in Peril was only in the base form. So let's go ahead and deal some bonus damage before that Mighty Guard goes up, and then hopefully the boss doesn't do the physical attack. If he does, whatever, we're wearing Guts. So are you going to do the physical? He did not do the physical. He did do the death attack. The death attack is fine. We're all wearing immunity, except for Cecil in the base form. Cecil is wearing immunity in the shift form. I couldn't really fit it in the base form. You'll see why when we get to the gearing phase. He's just going to re-raise. It doesn't matter. That's fine. So that was good RNG. The boss did not use the physical. We still have our Guts intact, because we might need that Guts on turn 4. You'll see why when we get there. Now the boss has Mighty Guard. You basically can't hurt the boss for 3 turns. Now here's why the boss is irritating. Mighty Guard will be gone on turn 5. We're going to burst on turn 5. We're not going to kill the boss on turn 5. We're going to push him below 50 into phase 2. That's going to be the threshold. Actually, let's get there first. We'll talk about it then. Okay, so now we're just going to like hang out for a bit and wait and do some setup. Now the boss is going to dispel himself on this turn. So we're going to use My Squall to go to the base form and triple cast his break, which also fills his LB gauge. Friend Squall can just do a Thunder in Peril. Hawkeye can do Mirage now. Let's be nice and safe. We're going to use Cecil to shift here. And we're going to do Shelga. Cover. And we're going to do a bigger attack and magic break. We're going to use Ilmatil to triple cast LB fill to start getting LB filled back up. And Sakura is going to, because Cecil died, re-imbue, which also resist buffs, status immunity, and we'll just imperil the boss again. So this turn, the boss is going to dispel himself, remove all his debuffs. As well as like some magic attacks recovering, some physical attacks we're miraging, we're fine. There's the dispel on himself. Okay, he's not going to do that again for this phase. At least not for this rotation. Now we're going to use the base form LB of My Squall to put up the 40% Greatsword in Peril, and it'll still be there for the rest of the fight. Friend Squall can just re-imperil again. Hawkeye can just Mirage again. Remember, we can't really hurt the boss until turn 5. Ilmatil can just, fill LB gauge yet again. Cecil on this turn can just put up cover again. We're going to use the cooldown break so that we take even less damage, and we'll just heal. Not that Cecil's going to take much damage anyway. That's because on turn 4 we might get hit, and I'll show you why when we get there. Now Sakura on this turn is going to re-imbue the party. We're going to do the big rolling amplify on My Squall, or the best geared Squall, which is, mine. Haha. And then we're going to refresh status immunity, because why not? Okay. This turn, again, no big deal. No dispels, either side. Some generic attacks, we're going to be immune to all of them. Gravity, who cares? He does heal himself, obnoxious, but whatever. We're immune to everything. We're wearing death immunity. Cecil is death immune in the shift form. Not a problem. Okay, here's turn 4. Let me go ahead and... we're going to be bursting next turn, so we're going to start getting ready for real. As far as Hawkeye goes, we're just going to Mirage. Notice at the top left corner, the boss has been automatically broken by 89% by Hawkeye's passive. So turn 4, Hawkeye auto breaks by 89%. So we're good on breaks now. Let's go ahead and Mirage. We're going to use the Squalls to shift and get ready for bursting next turn. We're going to use Squall to LB cooldown. We're going to LB fill to get them nice and topped off. And then we're going to imbue. Other Squall, same thing. LB cooldown, LB fill, Thunder imbue. Ilmatil is going to do the 250 killer. It lasts for 2 turns on both the Squalls. Cecil on this turn, just waiting. Cover, we can heal, Shelga, whatever. And we're going to use the shifted LB of Sakura. Okay, now this turn, the boss has 3 RNG attacks. They can potentially all be non-elemental physical. If he does 3 of them, it's kind of game over. But the chances of all three being the exact same attack are like very low. Very, very low. If he does one physical, miraged, no problem. If he does two physicals, we will either guts the second one or just mitigate it. We honestly might survive it through mitigation, or maybe he won't. It's really a low chance to even do two at all. We're probably not. We're probably going to see at the most one. Let's find out. So let's see how many physical attacks he decides to do. All right. Looks like he used only magic attacks and no physicals at all. Zero physicals. Great. Perfect. Okay. So now it is burst time. Now here's the problem. We're going to burst the boss to something like 35-ish%. That's going to push him into phase 2. He's going to do his threshold. His threshold is going to be just a meteor and nothing else. He will end his turn. The meteor can be nether-sighted if you want to. We're going to just cover it with Cecil. Who cares? That's all he's going to do. After that, we have to kill the boss. So we're going to burst him hard, then we're going to refill LB and burst him again. We got to kill him by turn 6. If we don't kill him by turn 6, then he's going to be in phase 2. He's going to put up Mighty Guard. He's going to start dispelling our party. And his Mighty Guard in phase 2 is going to be basically permanent uptime. He's going to also start healing. You can't win. You really just can't win in phase 2 if you don't burst him through it. Maybe you can. Maybe there's some weirdo strategy that does. I don't think it's possible, but who knows? So we have to kill him in 2 different bursts, back to back, because he's gonna skip a turn with the threshold. Anyway, let's do the burst. So we're gonna use Ilmatil to we can SOB. Honestly, she has kind of like a dead turn here. Nothing to do. The SOB is literally doing nothing because we don't need the killer. We got better. We don't need the stats, but she had a free turn. Let's go ahead and burst all our main damage dealers. Now, this is going to be our big burst. It's turn 5. This is the last turn of Squall's auto mod buff, like the Titus STMR. Also, we used his LB modifier cooldown, which would not be available. So we need to do the big burst right now. Let's go ahead and do that. We're not going to secure or Cecil yet. So go ahead and burst these two. And hopefully we hit it to around 35%. Or a lot lower. This is going to be a super easy win. Yeah, so I went ahead and Prism Moogled Laguna's TMR. My first Prism Moogle ever, because I was sick of this boss being stuck at like 2% on the kill turn. We are doing so much more damage now. It is ridiculous. It can't just be Laguna's TMR, but I mean, I'm used to the boss getting to about 35, 36%. We just got 20 whatever. Let's keep going. It's the threshold. Cecil is going to Omni Cover. His Omni Cover is going to also fill 30 LB gauge. We're also going to use Sakura to Esper cooldown, which fills another 30 LB gauge, and then we can just, imbue and whatever. That's going to guaranteed refill everyone so we can burst again. Now, here comes the threshold. It's a meteor. It can be nether-sighted. Cecil's going to Omni cover it and take like 5 damage. It's super whatever, no big deal. And now we kill. We have to kill this turn because if we don't, the boss puts up the permanent Mighty Guard and starts healing. It's game over at that point. But based on the damage we did a minute ago, we're going to super easily kill. Ilmatil is now going to refresh that 250 killer on both of our primary DPS. Cecil will go to the base form. And I was doing all this because previously I was not even close to killing, but it can't just be Laguna's TMR. Is it really that big a deal? I don't know. So we're going to triple Thunderbolting with Cecil from an Esper and Irony's ring, and then Shakira from her kit. So we're going to start the chain with them, and then we're going to come in with the rest of the guys and finish off this boss. So chain and chain. And that should be the end of... Got it. Okay, there is the all mission clear. So we did 2 turns on the first fight. We did actually only 4 turns on the second fight. That was really quick. Usually it's 6, but that was 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus we're on turn 6. So 12 turn clear. Really quick. Really quick. And that's obviously an all-mission clear. So here is the team that we used. Sakura is on Ramu, obviously. Death immunity and just bulk. Physical bulk is more important because the Phase 2 boss does AoE fixed physical damage that bypasses cover and all, can't be evaded, can't be miraged, and it targets your defense. So physical resist. Other than that, Esper fill and LB fill, and then a generic bulk card. Shift form identical. Also, mana reduction because her 100 amplify costs 1,000 mana. It's very expensive, so mana reduction helps. Cecil, in the base form, starts in the base form, is using Oracle's Codex. You don't need this. It does help just in case. That's an auto mirage. That's only for if the boss does double physical on turn 1 of the final phase. It'll keep Cecil alive. The rest of the party can like guts. He's not using guts. He actually is using guts. Whoops. Whatever. You get the idea. He's on an Esper that gives Thundara. Not Thundega. Thundara for the bolting strike. This is on Alexander. Irony's Ring, auto buffing, Esper fill, and his TMR in the base form. Shift form is passive provoke, death immunity, some magical bulk, passive provoke. I said that. Death immunity. I said that. Full evasion, and just bulk. It's Cecil. And some resist. We don't really, honestly, I don't even care about resist. He takes so little damage, who cares about resist? But if you really want to get serious about it, Thunder, Earth, and Dark resist. But whatever. Ilmatil is death immune, some bulk, not a ton of bulk, honestly speaking. Is she even door potted? Or is she even potted at all? I mean, she is potted. Why is she so squishy? Anyway, she survived, so it's good enough, apparently. You could definitely fit more defense. I'm not sure why her defense is so low. But death immunity, and then there it is. We never use Nethicite, so ignore that. And just bulk and bulk. Yeah. She does 250 machine killer and stat buff and LB fill. Hawkeye is our breaker. Death immunity, just some generic bulk. That's it. Oh, 1,000 needles, and we never use Nethicite, so forget that. And just bulk. Yeah, he is our 89 breaker, and that's it. Oh, he's on Lakshmi for stop immunity. You need that for the second fight. My Squall in the base form is 1,000 fill rate, 12 LB per turn, paintbrush, Call of the Wild. So he is all in for LB fill in the base form. Also death immunity. That way he can go the base form, put up his 40% Greatsword in peril, and then get his LB refilled like instantly for free almost. Shift form is damage versus machines, maxed LB, 13.3 attack power. He's only EX2, unfortunately. Maxed LB damage, guts, and death immunity. And I went ahead and used a Prism Moogle on stupid Laguna TMR. Feels so bad to do that on a non-limited item, but I kept hanging the boss at like 2%, and it was so frustrating, and now I overkilled him by dramatic amounts. There's no way it's just that item. It can't be, but it feels like if that was such a blowout, that clear, I don't know. Anyway, max damage and everything. And here is the friend, pretty much identical build. Base form is fill rate. This is FCon's unit, fill rate, that card. And then shift form is LB damage versus machines and guts, status immunity, etc. We actually never even needed guts. And I should be using this on Squall, honestly. I'm too lazy to farm Vision World. I didn't farm it. I don't care. I'm super lazy. I'm so sick of farming Vision World, so I missed Squall's chess piece. Rip, whatever. Too bad for me. And that was the clear. So, let's see the damage breakdown. We've got pretty close. To be fair, I did give my Squall the single target 100 amplify. So, yeah. Although amplifies are not as good or not as impactful on this clear, There's a permanent 100% thunder field always up, so amplifies are not quite as big of a deal. They still help though. And there's the clear. All missions on the Thunder Fight, designed for Zach and Cloud. We did it with Squall, and now we are ready for the next Grace trial, which is going to obviously be Light Element because Squall just came out, and we're definitely ready for it. So see you for that when it comes. See you next time.